If there's one thing the city is going to do on a regular basis, it's try to take more money from the small business owners. For example,
in the Midwest, you know the best is there waiting, so come and join the conversation. Highs to approved, fan and artist and creator too. This is how the challenges do. What? Keep the conversation moving along. Keep reading comics, keep your local store strong. If it's hard, then it's a job for the challengers. What? Comics and conversation, y'all.
From
Challengers Comics in Chicago.
This is Contest of Challengers, a comics industry business podcast with
Patrick Brower.
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 Patrick Brower and W. Dal Bush.
W. Dal Bush.
Dal Bush.
Del Bush.
Dal.
Del. Del.
Dal.
W. Dal Bush.
well, Dal, here we are in 2026.
Yeah, that's the year.
Happy January.
Happy January, Patrick.
Once again, we are not in the podcastatorium.
No.
We'll see what the audio is like. I don't know why I keep saying that. Like last time I was worried about it because we were back in the store, but it was fine.
Yeah, I'm sure it'll be fine. I mean, because we use these microphones, I don't think it's just dependent on the acoustics of the room or how the phone would pick things up.
Right now, we are, in fact, above the podcastatorium. We're just not underground.
True.
It's weird, right? It's so different up here.
Yeah, higher ceilings.
We're also literally the same distance apart, but our seats are not pointed in.
No.
So I want to start this week with one of the dumbest things happening in comics retail. And it doesn't apply to us, really. And I'm not going to name names specifically, but there's a store in Texas that has been doing a slew of midnight releases.
Okay.
Opening at 11:30 and selling books at midnight.
That seems like it's against the rules.
Yeah, it's against the terms of service. And they didn't know that. And other retailers objected to the publishers.
Sure.
And the publisher said, hey, you can't do that.
Right.
So this store has turned it into we've been tattled on, not by customers, but by other retailers, not even retailers in this state.
The industry's trying to stop us from getting you comic books.
And like, how do you know who it was?
No.
How do you know?
Yeah.
And they're doing their best to spin it into to make it a thing. Like, we're still going to do this. We're still going to have parties. We just can't sell the books. Don't worry, we're not going to sell the books, but our community deserves this, blah, blah, blah. And it's brought other people up saying, like, I didn't know there was a street date or anything like that. And yeah, there's always been a street date, an on-sale date for comic books.
I had somebody stop in on Tuesday this week in the afternoon asking me, did you guys put your DC books on the shelves on Tuesday?
No, why would we?
No, they go on the shelves on Wednesday. That's been the case for several years now.
Yeah, there was a brief window when Lunar first started that you could put DC books out Tuesday.
Right. We never.
That stopped. Yeah, we never did that, but also that stopped.
Yeah, I think July of last year, maybe.
And
or 2024, I think.
Literally, there is a store in our area that breaks release date or release time every week.
Yeah, I mean, the guy who was asking did not seem like he was mystified about how release dates work so much as he just assumed that we were another store that breaks street dates.
Yeah.
So he could get, I assume, Absolute Batman Arkham Special ahead of time.
Yeah.
And I had to say, no, we don't do that.
Now, the last we had heard, and I'm hearing from stores, especially new stores, that have never been told there's a release time or release date. And I could see where that would be a thing now, especially when there's not a diamond to
enforce it.
Yeah, to give you the rules and whatnot. And
especially because there's multiple distributors. So again, like, there's not one like bottleneck point at the industry to determine what the regulations are. Like Penguin Random House could say, okay, well, this is when all of the Marvel books can go on sale, but Lunar could independently say, okay, well, this is when Image books go on sale.
And ultimately, I don't think Penguin Random House or Lunar care. It's the publisher mandate. It's what the publishers decide.
Yeah.
So when the industry as a whole says, hey, we want to be able to sell Batman Arkham, early, DC has to be the one to say, yeah, we'll allow it if everyone gets their books in time.
Yeah.
Nowadays, they do.
And certainly, like, from my perspective as a retailer, like, selling books a day early, no, that's against the rules. No one should do that. That seems really obvious as far as a red line goes. The time you sell the books on Wednesday, I'm honestly a lot more leaning about that because I just feel like, look, if you're willing to get up at like 6 in the morning to open your store at 8 a.m. to sell books to people on Wednesday, I mean, you've earned it at that point. That's fine. I don't care. And and if people are willing to go out of their way to buy books, 2 or 3 hours early, fine.
Logistically, it would possibly benefit us to do that because we're right next to a train station.
Well, so this is the problem, though, is that the time that it would be valuable would not be like a couple hours early. It would be from like 7 to 9.
Yeah.
And then nothing from 9 to 11 because everybody's at work. So like you would have to get there by like 6:30 in the morning.
Right.
And even then, so many people will just come back after work. Like the idea of it doesn't make a lot of sense to me, mostly because let's say you're going to an office. If you pick up your books first thing, I don't know that you're going to like read them on the blue line or whatever. You're not going to have that much time necessarily. Like maybe, but it feels like you're not going to read them until you get home anyway. So what's the difference?
Convenience. Anyway, you just got all over my point. Was as much as it could possibly benefit us, it's not going to bring us extra money. We'll get those customers eventually anyway when they have routines, they have patterns. And if all we're doing is giving them a chance to buy the books earlier, it's not as if they're getting their books elsewhere and would immediately switch to us because, they're open at 6:30. They would come back to us if they were a regular at a time that's convenient to them as it is.
Right.
Or just keep going to their regular shop.
Well, like hypothetically, let's say there was a commuter who's passing by the store every Wednesday morning at like 8 a.m.
Yeah.
And they pass by the store and they're like, man, I'd love to get my new books here, but they're closed. Like, isn't that same person going to be walking by the store at like between 5 and 6 on the way home?
Yeah, there is.
So like again, it's not like they couldn't have gotten them later. So the idea of that person only having the store accessible to them at a very thin sliver of time in the morning does not feel like it's based on reality.
If anything, I feel like it would only annoy me personally more on release dates of hot books where people be like, let's go there at 8 o'clock and get all of the new Absolute Batman thing.
Yeah, I mean, we limit people, so it's not like you could show up and just get like 20 copies of a blind bag. Like, no, you can get 2. And we've done midnight releases for books when we've been allowed to by the publisher.
Yeah.
We're there for like 15 minutes.
Yeah.
People get their books and it's midnight and they go home. They do not hang out for several hours. It is not a situation where we need to stay there until like 11 a.m. or whatever.
Along those lines, how would you feel about, and this is, a good 11 and a half months away, almost 12 months away, dusting off Christmas Crisis for 26?
I thought about it this past year.
Yeah. This past year would not have worked.
No. And that's why I was mostly just like rolling it around as like, is it worth it for that to come back? I mean, certainly the main difficulty for anyone who doesn't know what it is, Christmas Crisis was a thing that Patrick and I had done at our previous jobs and we brought over to Challengers under a new name.
Yeah, a better name.
And the idea was that we would open up at 11 a.m. on December 23rd and then stay open all night straight through to 5 p.m. on December 24th.
Or whenever we close.
Right. So it would be 30 hours straight. And it was really a combination of, especially for the overnight portion, like the, evening, morning portion of it all, where it was more like a holiday party than anything else. Like people could drop in and get some Christmas shopping done or whatever. But a lot of it was just people coming by the store that we knew, customers, dropping by to just, we would watch movies, we would play video games, we would, do trivia contests. We would do a lot of like unprogrammed like party stuff. The problem was, especially in the later portions, there's a real dead spot from like 4 a.m. to like 10 a.m.
Yeah.
Where nobody comes in. And it's 6 hours. And, Patrick and I, since we would usually stay for the whole thing, we've already been there for, 18 hours or whatever. So we are exhausted. And then now you're just dealing with, it's pitch black outside, it's cold, you're getting grumpy. You meaning me and you, not you specifically.
Not wrong, though.
You're getting grumpy. I'm getting grumpy.
No, you're getting drunky. You're getting grumpy. I'm getting drunk.
And then it's really just waiting for the sun to come up. And then it's like, okay, let's get breakfast. People start coming in to buy stuff. The only people that would usually come in at like 3 or 4 in the morning are incredibly drunk people wandering out of the Green Eye or whatever bar who see lights on and they are drunk and they are causing a scene. And we have to kind of babysit them while they're in the store. So that aspect of it was like one of the reasons why we sort of let it go. But It was very fun, and we haven't done it in a long time, and I think it could be pretty fun.
Well, here's an extra incentive to do it this upcoming year.
Go on.
Christmas Eve is a Thursday. Neither of us have to work Christmas Eve. So we only have to get to 11 o'clock.
Oh, okay.
We're not required to stay until close.
That's interesting. That is an interesting point.
And at any given point, one of us can go home early.
Sure.
We don't both have to be there.
No, but I feel like, short of illness, I don't think either of us would want to cut out early. We would power through.
I mean, ultimately, it would still be a 24-hour shift.
Yeah.
But it wouldn't be a 30-hour shift.
That's true. I mean, that was honestly how I used to do it at the old store. Like, I wouldn't stay for the whole 30 hours. Like, the sun would come up. A group of us would go for breakfast at like IHOP or whatever. We'd do like a Christmas Eve breakfast.
It was usually the diner up on Main Street. And
I definitely remember doing one at the IHOP on Route 59.
Okay. Oh, sure. Yeah. When the crisis switched to
Naperville from Downers.
Yeah. Yeah. Usually when it was Downer Groves, it was just the small cafe up on Main Street.
Yeah.
I literally like those Christmas Eve memories are what made me love Christmas Eve so much, was because we had just done that ridiculous shift. Then we go for breakfast with all of our friends.
Yeah.
We do our Christmas. And then you still have Christmas Day the next day.
Yeah. And I've said internally that one of the reasons why I've always loved Christmas Crisis is because, like, even though I would only work 24 hours, you do breakfast with friends.
Yeah.
It takes you a while to get home. When you get home, you need to take care of some stuff because you haven't been home in a day. So I would be up for like 30 hours, and then I would probably go to bed at like 6 or 7 at night and get the best sleep of the year. Like, my whole body would reset because I'd be so exhausted that I would just sleep straight through for like 10 to 12 hours. I would wake up like a new man. It was the best. So that alone would be a reason for me to attempt it again.
Yeah. I mean, barring any unforeseen circumstances, I think we can tentatively say it's a thing we would revisit this year.
Yeah. And I mean, the good thing about it, one of the best things about it, is it's not a thing that has a lot of moving parts to it. We're not booking artists or dealing with a lot of like logistical things. It's mostly just like, I would maybe bring in my PS5 and hook it up to the TV or whatever, which means it's not a thing that we have to, like Free Comic Book Day, where, you plan it for like 5 or 6 months. This is a thing where in November we could be like, do we want to do this? And be like, yeah, let's do it.
Now, one drawback this time is that this will be the first Christmas Crisis where there's no couch in the store. That couch got a lot of...
We could bring down that red chair, though.
That one red chair.
Yeah.
But I mean, there's other people.
I know what you mean.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a thing that I think about as well. Like, I miss doing 24-hour Comics Day.
Yeah.
But the layout of the store precludes us from ever doing that again. We don't have if we did it, we'd be able to do it like for 5 people.
Yeah, we would have to basically put it in Sidekicks. And even then it's like, so no kids can buy comics for the day. Like,
and Saturdays, which it's a Saturday, it starts Saturday to Sunday. That is our biggest Sidekicks day of the week.
And on top of that, like, I feel like stuff like 24-hour Comics Day really only works when you're at max capacity. Doing it for like 5 or 6 people is like, I don't know. They're just kind of in the way a little bit, or, they're working quietly. When you have 30 people, it's an event.
I've always wanted to do something for hourly comic book day.
Mm.
It's always February 1st.
Okay.
But this year it's a Sunday. And next year it's a Monday.
Mm.
And then I'm willing to be a hub where people send us stuff and we post it on our socials along with putting them on their socials, but I can't think of a legitimate in-store component that would make it worthwhile for people to take part in it.
Right.
Lucy Nisley has always asked us to do something, but
I mean, the only way I can think of that you would do it is some sort of charity component where somebody come in, and as long as like you're pledging how many hours can they keep going.
Yeah.
And that money goes to a specific charity, but of that person's choice.
But even so, it's not like, hourly comic day is not it's not a marathon. It's just once an hour you post a little strip. You're not spending the day drawing.
Right. But maybe that would be just what we would do with it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Sure.
Like, we could add a twist on it.
I don't know. It's too soon for us to do anything with it.
Sure.
This year, but
yeah, and certainly anything that requires a lot of floor space is a thing that I would have to think very long and hard about, because it's just with how busy the store is getting these days. Like, we had this past Wednesday, what on one hand was just a regular Wednesday. But
You mean as far as releases go?
releases, amount of people in, sales, pretty much a standard Wednesday. 6 years ago, it would have been the best Wednesday we had for the year. And that's just every Wednesday now. And we're seeing stuff like that on, Mondays and Saturdays and whatever. So the things that we used to do, store takeover kind of stuff we would have done 12 or 13 years ago, we had way less people coming in. We were way less a part of the community. We had way less product. Our sales were way lower. So handing over space and time, sorry, Dr. Who, to a lot of like non-money making event style things were easy to justify. Now it's like, how much are we losing to do that? And how much is it costing us to put it on? Like that, the arithmetic of that has to be more a part of the conversation than it would have been a decade ago. But again, Christmas Crisis is something additive. It's not getting in the way.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, for real. The only type of shop takeover we're looking for in 2026 is maybe more external advertising for monies.
Oh, sure.
Like Mission Impossible.
Yeah, I mean, if they wanted to do something for Avengers Doomsday or Spider-Man or Supergirl, yeah.
I'm surprised that there wasn't a city complaint because the entire windows got covered up, but it was mainly with graphics and not words. And I think that for City of Chicago, it is the amount of percentage of the space that's taken up by words on the window is where they consider it, like, especially when it's a sign for the store. This wasn't a sign for the store.
Yeah, I think advertisement stuff, I assume that we're in the right, or at least I'm assuming that the company that is doing all of the manufacturing and applications are aware of what the local ordinances are and will not get us in any huge trouble because they are a professional company and they've done this before.
We can but hope. But if there's one thing the city is going to do on a regular basis, it's try to take more money from the small business owners. For example, the Chicago bag tax under the new city budget that was proposed and, I guess, ratified right at the end of the year.
Maybe it's a very tricky situation.
Yeah. All I know about the budget is it wasn't vetoed.
Yeah, last January 2025, the bag tax went up from 7 cents to 10 cents.
And it started in 2017, and it was 7 cents per bag from 2017 to 2025. Then it went up to 10 cents in 2025. In 2026, it went up to 15 cents.
Yep.
Now, the tricky thing about that, specifically from our standpoint, is we were alerted by the city Wednesday morning.
January 7th.
January 7th. So that retroactively, January 1st, it went up to 15 cents.
Yes, but they told us 7 days later.
All of the bags that we, quote, sold for the first 6 days, we are on the hook for the difference.
The tax we collected for those bags was insufficient for the new city ordinances.
Now, it turns out that other larger businesses knew ahead of time. Some places had signs up already.
Like, I definitely had read about it, but I had never gotten an official communication from the city saying this is happening.
Yes, correct. We did just yesterday morning.
Right, that's what I mean. Nothing was received prior to January 1st.
Which is annoying. And look, the amount of money that we have to pay for those 6 days of bag tax, it's negligible.
It's not the end of the world.
But it's not the point.
Right. It's still money out of pocket.
Yeah.
For something that we should not be responsible.
Here's the thing I've never understood about the bag tax. As a business, we legally have to charge you, the customer, 15 cents per bag. We have to have a separate register category just for that. And we have to document every month what we've sold. And then every 6 months, we have to file tax returns for all of that. And it has to line up. It has to all measure up. And it's a non-discountable category.
Mm-hmm.
We can't give you a discount on the bag tax.
No.
We have to charge you 15 cents. However, we only have to give the city 14 cents per bag. So we are allowed to keep 1 cent per bag, right? What we're not allowed to do is only charge you 14 cents.
Mm-hmm.
We have to have paperwork showing that we charge 15 cents per transaction, and we have to keep a penny. Like, that's our compensation for doing this.
Right.
I would rather just charge you the 14 cents and not have it to be like, I don't want to be profiting off this. The city's making us complicit.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, oh, well, it's not just us. It's you too. You're gaining from this. Yeah, we're gaining. 1 cent to your 14 cents.
Mm-hmm.
And again, I would rather not have that 1 cent and just not do it.
Sure.
But as the guy that always files the tax returns, what boggles my mind is it never, ever lines up. It never matches up with the number of bags you've sold and the amount of money you've given. It's always off by a few cents, right? Nothing major, a few cents. But if it's off, you can't file. It will not let you file unless it's even. So then you have to fudge it by a few cents and say, okay, this is what it is. So it's even from what their records say to what your records say. And then before you file, it's like, well, do you swear under penalty of law that this is the truth? And each time I'm like, I know it's not the truth.
And you collected $28.17 in bag taxes?
Yeah, it's literally, the adjustment is just by a few cents to make it match, but I don't understand how it lines up every single month, but every 6 months it's not adjusted right.
Right.
And it's on their end, and I don't know why. And I don't care because it's only a couple of cents.
Right.
In the back of my head, I'm waiting for the city one day to be like, all right, we audited this.
To drop the hammer.
And while collectively since 2017, you've been off 84 cents total.
The penalties.
Here's the $250 per year penalty.
Uh-huh. Because it's always something weird like that.
When we had our short-lived second store in River North, and we were dealing with the city for exterior signage, which we do not have in Bucktown. But in River North, the building we were in only had exterior signage, and you had to have the sign permits, and you had to have everything meticulously approved, and it was quite the process. Once that store shut down, it was harder to prove to the city that we were closed and we didn't have a sign anymore than it was to get the sign put up.
Amazing.
We had to go and take okay, here's photos of the store with no sign and an empty building. Well, how do we know this isn't a photo from before? What do I got to hold up today's newspaper? You can go there and see, we got shut down because of vandalism, robbery, and a pandemic, and you're nickel and diming us for a sign permit for a sign that was taken down months ago. And it was such an ordeal that it was such a relief when they finally said, okay, we acknowledge that the sign doesn't exist, but that's us right now. I don't care that you took the sign down back in July. You still have to pay for the sign for this period of time when it wasn't up.
Amazing.
Cities, man, government, I tell you what.
Crazy.
This is a point in the world where everything costs so much more.
Mm-hmm.
We use Microsoft products to do our bookkeeping. I use Excel every day. I use Word every day for invoice breaking down, for all sorts of files and things. And we use Publisher for all of our signage, our flyers, our banners, everything.
Mm-hmm.
And rather than outright buy it, we pay a monthly fee for Microsoft, for MS Office.
We use Office 365, which is just their subscription service to get access to all of their Office applications in the cloud.
And we pay a yearly fee, so it's a little bit cheaper. It's going up $30 a year this year. And they're sunsetting Publisher. They're just getting rid of Publisher. They're not replacing it.
Mm-hmm.
They're just getting rid of it. And of course, Dal, why are they justifying this $30 price increase?
More AI.
How much AI do you use in any of these things?
0. Turn them all off.
Yeah. So literally 33% of what we use this for, we are not getting anymore. Oh, but there's PowerPoint. Yeah, you know what? I did. I used PowerPoint for the first time for our New York Comic-Con keynote speech.
How'd that go, Patrick?
I mean, okay.
Yeah.
Could have been better.
I thought you were going to complain about the fonts for a second.
That's my fault for not knowing the fonts didn't embed.
Still.
I'm unhappy with the font choices, but we were also the only people that had a deck, so I'm fine with that. And that literally helped me and you keep our place.
Sure.
I love it that there's points where it's almost inaudible, but you were searching for the list of the first graphic novels we were carrying back in the day.
Sure.
And I just whispered It's on the screen.
Yeah, I didn't realize the screen was there. I'm just reading, like, because you had on the library.
I had my notes, but
Yeah,
the notes. It was,
I was just using that. I didn't realize,
but it was bullet points.
because I didn't look up to the left, I didn't realize there was a screen there that you could see.
Yeah.
So once I did, I'm like, oh, okay, sure, yes.
Yeah.
But yeah, I did not realize that
So-
for the first few minutes.
So yes, the deck was invaluable,
Sure.
but it was not the graphic visual I was hoping for it to be for the viewer.
Understood.
But hey, the words were more important, not
Sure.
the viewing point. But anyway, we don't use PowerPoint regularly, and we have until November to come up with new programs.
I'll probably look and see if there's like,
I've been doing that. I've been playing with the new ones, the most recommended replacements.
Yeah.
But they're all very different, and there's two of them that said, oh, you can import your publisher files, but they don't import it as the components. They import it as one thing.
like an image.
Yeah, and you can't.
That's no good then.
Yeah, you can't modify that.
Yeah. If it doesn't keep them as individual components, then it's not worthwhile.
And look, we've been using Publisher for years, and there was a learning curve, but we learned everything little by little as we needed to.
Right.
What we need to do now is to learn something top to bottom and rebuild all of our templates at once.
Right.
So it's a seamless changeover.
Yeah.
So, and again, we've got until November, and I have started, but I'm not happy with the results
Sure.
because I want a program that's intuitive that I could open and figure it out.
Mhm.
I don't want to have to keep watching tutorials
Right.
because that slows you down.
Right.
And tutorials are very important for when there's a specific thing you want to know how to do. For example, how to curve text around the outside of a heart shape.
Sure.
Like, that's helpful for, let's say, a sale t-shirt
Mhm.
that's upcoming. For example. But I don't want like a start to finish tutorial for, and I can't remember either of the names of the two programs I've been using,
Sure.
but I want it to be as intuitive. And over the years, Publisher was getting less intuitive. They would keep making all these design changes that were like, oh, this thing you used to click a box for, now you have to click 4 other things to get to. Very annoying. But anyway, the point of that rant was that it is now $30 more a year for 33% less functionality for us. And that is indicative of every aspect of running a business. The prices for everything just keep going up. The fees for all of our subscriptions, mainly computer stuff, mainly behind the scene things like antivirus
Mhm.
or backup programs,
Right.
or Dropbox, which is an invaluable tool for us.
Sure.
I love Dropbox so much for its saving and storage. And God, do you remember back in the day having zip disks to back everything up
I
on?
do.
Or before that, just, disks,
Yeah.
floppy disks, and then the smaller hard drives, the 3 1/4, whatever they were.
Yeah.
The hard plastic ones, the ones that came free with every magazine to get you to download AOL.
Sure.
But it is a point where business costs so much more. Just all the supplies go up, all the bags go up,
Yeah.
and the margins that we have for our products don't go up, they go down.
Yeah.
We've lost a percentage point in these image books this year. I thought I was going to lose more, but it was only at 1%.
Sure.
But still, add that up over what we spent over the course of a year.
Yep.
That's significant.
Yeah.
I just don't like that it's harder to do this
It's not great.
every year.
I don't like that.
Every year. All right, we actually have questions,
Yay.
and I meant to do these last year or last year. Well, technically last year. Yeah, but last week, but I did not have this in front of me. So thank you in advance to Ryan Alcock for having a series of questions for us. I do believe you've read this, but don't remember it.
Correct.
Okay, so to demonstrate that we are not talking to a vacuum, Ryan has given us some questions. The first section is on shelving graphic novels.
Okay. I do that a lot.
In terms of quantity of shelves and bookcases, How small or big can a genre get before it is detrimental to finding books?
I would love one of the things that Patrick and I have talked about a lot, me more than Patrick, is how small I find the store to be these days. I wish we had more space. This is the last year has been the first time since we've opened the store that I've genuinely thought about the Western Avenue Bucktown store finding a different location within the neighborhood that's bigger, because there are so many sections of the store that I feel like we need to expand. For example, the horror graphic novel section is one 3-foot wide bookshelf that's maybe 6 feet tall. It could easily be a second bookshelf. Easily. There's any number of graphic novels that we cannot stock in depth. We can only stock like a copy because we don't have room to stock 2 or 3 copies that we would probably sell. There's just no room for it to go anywhere, and we don't have a large back room space to put a bunch of extra copies. We do not have a warehouse to keep a whole bunch of extra copies of things. So we have to stock a minimal amount and then reorder quickly and hope that something is in stock, which, absolute Batman graphic novel, absolute Wonder Woman graphic novel, absolute Martian Manhunter graphic novel. Those are all out of stock at multiple distributors until February. If we had more floor space or a warehouse space, I would have ordered 100 copies of those books. We'd still have it. So I don't know that there's such a thing as a section being too big. Obviously, if you don't have a lot of product, an anemic section is going to look bad. But certainly we have, I think, come up against the idea of sections being too small, of us, not having room for certain graphic novels or having to prune things faster than I would like simply because there's no room for books to go.
Our lease isn't up until first third of 2028. So this is a discussion that we will literally have to table until a year from now.
Yeah, this is nothing that I am advocating, like, we need to start looking for spots, so much as, like, it's more me putting out the idea of Patrick really doesn't want to move because the physical aspect of it is incredibly taxing, and by the time this thing rolls around, we will be 20 years older than when we built the store.
Yeah.
And 20 years more decrepit.
But more than that, historically, how much business we're going to lose when you move. There was a point where we literally moved a store across the street from where we were, and people could not find us.
Yeah.
And is as much marketing and advertising and telling people and whatever you do, it's not going to work.
But at the same time,
and there's nothing in our, within a block of us that would work for us.
Yeah.
Anything further away, I think, is going to be a huge detriment.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Nothing I would want to do would be, more than a block away I would not want to go to.
Yeah.
So something would kind of need to be, the perfect spot and whatever. But I think to push back a little bit on what you were saying about how, once upon a time we moved a store and people couldn't find us. I mean, you've worked at shops where you moved a couple of spots down.
Yeah.
You got a much bigger spot.
Yeah.
You were able to stock way more stuff and business blows up. And you have friends who own shops in other countries and they found the same situation where they needed to move to a bigger spot because you'd outgrown the space you had and you were hitting a ceiling on how much money you could make because you literally could not stock enough.
Sure. You're absolutely right. In both those instances, they had space like that available to them.
Right. So I would not push it. If if it's late 2027.
Yeah.
And, business has not dipped and we are finding the same problems. If we look around and we don't find anything, we don't find anything.
Okay.
It's not worth looking bigger spot in a worse location.
Looking at Big Bang's new store, which is literally around the corner from where they were.
Sure.
It's night and day. And their old store was great, but this new store is phenomenal.
Yeah.
And I would love that. But you and I, in the past, when a lease was up, were exploring around the neighborhood, and spots on Milwaukee, just around the corner from us, were so much more expensive.
Yeah.
And we couldn't figure out why.
Yeah. I mean, some of it is just you need to negotiate.
Yeah.
Even the spot we have, there have been times where we've needed to renegotiate our lease, to go to them and say, look, this is what you want. This is what we think is fair. Let's meet in the middle. So yeah, like anything, I'm sure that there's a lot of real estate where it's this is what we want per square foot. You go in and say, well, this is what we're prepared to offer, and this is how long of a lease we're prepared to do.
Yeah, but those specific spots were roughly the same size. We were looking to upgrade.
Yeah.
Like we would need to. The only thing in the area that I could think would match for us would have been Starbucks.
I don't know if Starbucks is even that big.
Well, it's enough to hold multiple businesses now.
I mean, allegedly.
Yeah, I mean, if you have you been in that Starbucks?
Yeah.
You couldn't ever see like the back rooms and stuff.
True, but then there's the thing for that spot is that there is a physical therapy that runs straight through the building.
Yeah.
So I don't think there was as much back room as you'd think there might have been. But anyway, yeah.
There's again, this is we can't. The problem is, even if we found something right now that like this is perfect, we have a lease for 2 more years.
Yeah. So again, I'm not looking to break our lease. I'm not looking to pay a penalty. I'm not looking to move in 2026 or even 2027. What I am looking for is, if business stays on the current trajectory and if this is sustainable, then unlike in times past where we've maybe looked at moving because business was bad and we need to find a better spot to capture more business, this is a situation where it's like we're hitting the ceiling of what we can make. If we want the business to keep growing, which we obviously do, then we will need to find a bigger spot because, again, we sell physical goods. Like, you need, if
we need space.
Yeah, I mean, again, if I could carry twice as many horror graphic novels, that means not only would I have to restock less often, which is an expenditure of time, if not money, but it also means that there's less possibility of us being out of stock on something for any length of time. Because instead of having to stock one copy of the Something is Killing the Children omnibus, because I can only fit one on the shelf, maybe I stock 3. And A, that means that I'm not out of stock on it if I sell one tomorrow. But B, it means that, people see 3 of them and suddenly they're like, oh, this looks good. When people see more copies of something, they tend to think it's better, it's more popular.
Yeah.
It's more of interest to them than in one single copy.
My ideal space would be something that is bigger than what we have, but also has like a dedicated warehouse area that's not necessarily floor space.
Right.
So we could get rid of our storage unit as well.
Yeah, and additionally, I would, depending again, let's say that in 2 years, the business...
Oh man, we're getting off on the pipe dream phase.
No, this is just a real minor thing. Let's say in 2 years, the business metrics look the same as they do now, as far as like what we're doing, how we're doing it, where we're devoting our time. Like, I would definitely want, a backroom space that not only can be storage space, but also something where it's like more shipping supplies.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Where there can be a dedicated space for shipping or whatever. Like, that would be a dream, to not have to hide that stuff in nooks and crannies, to not have to do it on a back counter or on a side table, to not have a situation where I'm trying to unpack a box and you're trying to pack a box and we're getting in each other's way.
Yeah, but that would require somebody being off the floor.
Right. So, I mean, that's the thing is, additionally, when you're talking about a bigger space, you are also probably talking about more payroll.
Yeah.
Like, not for sure and not necessarily right away, but that is the idea is, okay, well, one person or 2 people can do 1,500 to 2,000 square feet. If you're talking about 3,000 to 4,000 square feet plus a back room, you're probably talking about at least an additional person per shift. Like, that's just it. So again, this is, something that in 2027, if things look like they are something that could sustain a bigger spot, then we start looking. And look, if we find something great, if we don't, we re-up. I'm fine. Like, it would be a shame, but it's not like we couldn't do like a 3-year extension or whatever and then revisit it 3 years later.
Sure. But Ryan, to get back to your question about the space, minimum of 1 graphic novel shelf. We don't want to split up categories like 3 shelves on this one, on the top half of this shelf, and then, or this bookcase, and then 2 on the bottom.
Yeah.
The smallest we have is 1 half-size shelf, which is humor, but it's racked next to drama. And our drama used to be 3 shelves, but we pulled out everything that was nonfiction and put it in a nonfiction drama section next to it. And those shelves are 3.5 feet, 4 feet high, 3 feet high.
Probably 4 feet.
They're 3 shelves. They're 3 feet long.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, never anything smaller than 1 shelving unit. Next question. What would be the pros and cons to implement subgenres? For example, 2 bookcases of genre sci-fi within 1 to 3 shelves within dedicated... Sorry, I'm reading this wrong. 2 bookcases of genre sci-fi with 1 to 3 shelves within dedicated to subgenres such as dystopian sci-fi,
Yeah.
hard sci-fi.
Punk or
Yeah.
romantasy or something like that.
We're too small to do that.
Yeah, that's the thing. When you only have 3 bookshelves to deal with, which is about 45 linear feet of bookshelf space, you really don't have the space to do a lot of smaller genre stuff. I mean, you're talking about, what would amount to be, 75 to 100 books. It's not really worth it. That said, internally, we are trying to get to a point where we can break our manga section, which is the most amount of bookshelves in the store, not counting the sidekick section, into more digestible chunks. So instead of a straight A to Z of manga, we want to have like a shonen section, a shoujo section, a seinen section, a josei section. So that's in the works, and hopefully in 2026 we'll get to that point.
The problem with that, and specifically with the breaking up of the genres like for sci-fi, is then it requires all staff members to know those distinctions. And manga is going to be hard enough specifically for me to remember which one is which.
Mm-hmm.
Like if somebody says, oh, do you have this one? And I don't know what the manga is off the top of my head.
Right.
I will have to check every section.
Yeah. I mean,
and I'm not going to, like, if you say, I don't know, Little Bird came to mind, but it'd be like, oh, well, what is it? Dystopian? Is it hard sci-fi? Like what is its subgenre?
And again, like that is sort of a detriment of hyper-specific genre coding, is eventually you can kind of get too hyper-specific and people can't find anything.
Yeah.
Like if you say sci-fi fantasy, people can sort of figure that out. But you start saying like, oh, well, is monstrous dark fantasy or is that steampunk fantasy? Like which section does that go in? And it's like, well, like one of the edge case books has always been Hellboy. Like what section does Hellboy go in? Because it's like we put it in horror. I think the main categorization Dark Horse gives it is horror, but I feel like you could easily make a case for fantasy.
Yeah.
So eventually you kind of just have to make a decision. Like we decided horror. We told everyone who works there horror. Occasionally people have to ask us where Hellboy is, but once they see it's in horror, they never have to ask again. They know where it is.
And with our sci-fi section being only 3 shelves, it's not that hard to find stuff.
Mm.
I think it's funny that you chose monstrous as a call out because for the longest time that was in YA.
We had double racked it.
Yeah.
That was this thing where early when we didn't have as much YA stuff, it was easier to take a few different series and go, okay, we'll put it in both. But now again, our bookshelves are so full and we've run out of so much space that nothing can be double racked, which had its own problems where like we still do some double racking, like Yotsuba is in both the sidekick section and the manga section, but you run the risk of running out of Yotsuba number 4 in the sidekick section, but having it in the manga section, and then someone looks in one and doesn't see it and doesn't know to look in another one, and we assume it's out of stock because the section we're looking in doesn't have it, and then it becomes a whole problem. So,
or even so, the customer itself doesn't know that it's in 2 spots.
Right, and doesn't think to ask. They just look in the section and go, oh, they have 3 and 5, they don't have 4. I'm just going to not get anything. Yeah, certainly we could probably do stuff on the website. Maybe that would break stuff down into more categories.
We could definitely subgenre things on the website where we could look it up or people could search dystopian and get some choices.
Or get like kind of spotlight genre stuff on the main page where, we do a little spotlight for a month where it's like, hey, here's all of our, romance manga or whatever.
But that's nothing we've done yet. And it's a daunting task when you realize like, oh, you want to subcategorize everything into something.
Yeah. And like a lot of things that we look at is like, oh, that'd be fun to do. There's just no time.
Yeah. Unfortunately,
the number of things that on a daily basis, I'm like, that'd be fun to do. And I have to go, when would it get done? What would I have to not do? Or how many things would I have to in my personal life set aside to make this happen? And is it worth doing it?
This is another one of my standard rants, but tomorrow, Friday, we're getting so many deliveries in, and it's not just all the Lunar product for next week. It's not just all the PRH product for next week. It's a bunch of different reorders as well. And if those could get spread out over the course of the week, gosh, that'd be better.
Yeah, well, I mean, I hate to tell you this. They do. As the guy who works Monday and Tuesday, it's not like I don't get any UPS orders. Though.
Sure, but you don't get...
I don't get 20 boxes for sure. But like, on a Monday, I will get 6 or 7 boxes sometimes. I might get the Lunar reorder. I might get an Ingram reorder. I might get a bunch of PRH.
But Dal, in the good old days, we would be able to time it better because we knew when we order when things would show up, and we would rig it so...
We still sort of do. I mean, I'll be honest with you. Like, if I order something, if I do reorders on a Wednesday night, if Ingram has stuff to ship out, it's probably going to show up on Friday.
Yeah. Ingram, yes.
Lunar could be Friday, which it sounds like it might be this week, but it's frequently Monday. PRH is weird because different publishers from PRH ship out of different warehouses. So we might get like IDW and kids books Monday, but on Wednesday of the following week, we might get Marvel, Yen Press, whatever.
It's still annoying because there's regular Friday tasks that need to be done, but it will be all day tomorrow
Sure.
of unboxing.
I've been there. It sucks.
Yeah. And the Lunar reorder is almost as many boxes as the Lunar main order.
We ran on a lot of stuff, especially on the front table.
Sure.
So this is a real quick sidebar. I'm sure you do this. I have noticed some front table stuff ending up on the shelves because people don't know it's front table stuff. So if Gina's maybe doing those Lunar restock boxes, if you can make sure that like if there's 4 or 5 copies of something, it's probably going to go on the front table.
Sure.
Even if we don't have copies on the front table because we probably sold out.
Yeah, no, I usually do that, but also I make sure to put one with the regular shelves.
Right. So usually how I stock stuff, and this isn't something you have to do, it's just how I do it.
Now, I just want to point out to you that I've been gone for 6 weeks.
I know. But first volumes, like all the image stuff that's on the top of the spotlight section.
Yeah.
I usually do 2 copies on the shelves and then the rest of them are on the front table. Anything on the bottom section, which is usually self-contained stuff, I'll do 1 copy on the bookshelves and then everything else on the table. Unless it's something where I feel like it's moving super fast, like do a power bomb, I'd maybe do 2 copies on like the bookshelves, case by case basis.
Sure. Question 3. If you start with the perfect racking system,
Never have.
does it get stagnant and need changing periodically to disrupt the habits of your customers and hopefully get them to notice other books?
100%.
We've changed our racking system many times over the years, but each time we do it, it's never been to change it for change's sake. It's been because we have a better way to do it. But as far as the way the genre categories are set up now, we toyed with the idea last year of flipping the shelves, but it would be so much work.
And it didn't feel like it would do anything necessarily.
And it doesn't change the layout of the genre sections. It just means where they are.
Yeah, it means you're suddenly looking in the wrong section. Yeah, it's just aggravating.
But the front table changes all the time.
And I'll give you another example. Our new this week section is 16 linear feet. It is
Which sounds small, but it's not. It's huge.
24 4-foot shelves. I do the layout in the new this week section every Tuesday. There are a minimum of 5 different basic configurations for how the new this week section looks based on how much product we're getting in and what type of product we're getting in. Well, but also, is it a lot of graphic novels? Is it a lot of comics? Is it a lot of other stuff? Is it catalogs this week? So that section, the physical space is always in the same part of the store, but how it's laid out, I am consciously trying to change it every week. And again, like it's not wildly different. Again, there's like 4 or 5 configurations that can flip between, but I try to make sure that like if one week is the top 2 shelves all the way across are graphic novels and the bottom 4 shelves all the way across are comics, the next week might be the 18 shelves on the left are comics and the 6 shelves on the right are graphic novels. Or the next week it might be the 6 shelves on the left might be graphic novels and the 18 shelves on the right might be comics. So I do try to make sure that that section, which turns over 100% every week, is starting from a place of like, there's a little bit of visual difference to what's going on here beyond just what comics are on the wall.
We haven't changed the basic layout of the store in a while. We've changed Sidekicks up a bunch.
Yeah.
And it's staying where it is for now. We've changed it so much that there was no room for a Christmas tree this year.
True.
We don't know where it would have gone. Years past, it's been up on the top of shelves.
Yeah.
But the general layout of Challengers has been the same. We made a tiny difference in the middle of last year to accommodate specific shelving for the compact comics when they were taking off. And that the difference was pulling out shelves by like a foot to create an uneven corner to have little offset alcoves for the shelves to go.
Yeah, little freestanding displays for the compact comics and the Marvel Premiere collections.
And while it was basically unnoticeable for customers, I think we both immediately felt like, the aisles are a tiny bit tighter over here.
Yeah, I don't think it was detrimental or anything, but yeah, I mean, certainly we're there more than anyone else, and we are hyper aware of even just inches of change.
The thing that I'm aware of now that drives me insane is all the carpet pulls.
Yeah, same.
I mean, the carpet's like 3 years old now, but still.
Oh, I feel like it's more than that.
I think it was just 3 years.
Okay.
Yeah. But yeah, we're not replacing the carpet anytime soon.
No.
But
another reason to think about moving.
okay, now this is a new section. From a retailer perspective, do you prefer fill-in artists or skip months? Is there a different answer here for creator-owned versus big two / licensed comics? Different answer for ongoings versus minis? Minis should never have a fill-in artist.
Yeah, for sure. It's going to make the graphic novel eventually not work, and that is more valuable to me than a month's sales. Like when Ryan Brown had his health scare, I am completely fine with that book taking a month or two off.
Yeah.
Rather than having to bring in another artist or something else. Like the Lucky Devils collection is way more valuable to me than Lucky Devils #5 will be.
This is a conversation that is larger in the grand scheme of how publishers do things, but I prefer consistent art teams and creative teams as long as possible. Or if you're going to have fill-ins, have dedicated fill-ins the way Ultimate Spider-Man has 2 main art teams.
Yeah, or like how Absolute Batman has done it, where Nick Dragotta does an arc, but then maybe like Marcos Martin comes in for like a couple issues, or Jock does a one-shot or whatever, where it's written towards the idea a different artist is drawing it. That's fine. But like the one thing I'll always
has been great with that.
Yeah, the one thing I'll always remember was I think the first, like the Alan Heinberg Wonder Woman, I think the first arc, Terry Dodson and Rachel Dodson were the artists. But then like chapter 4 of 5 was a completely different artist because they were just running behind. And it's like, okay, now one chapter of a 5-chapter book doesn't look the same. And
What
it will
about
always not look the same?
what about oh god, I forgot the name of it. The classic DC Russian Batman story. What was that called?
10 Nights of the Beast?
No.
Oh, Red Sun.
Red Sun. Yeah. That was Dave Johnson and Phil Winslow.
Killian Plunkett.
Killing Plunkett, sorry. But I mean, it was
it just switches because Dave Johnson had been working on it for years.
Yeah.
And if they didn't switch to a different artist, it was never going to come out.
The same thing with like the standalone Adventures of Captain
I was
America.
going to say the Kevin Maguire one.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Maguire one, yeah.
Where if you don't switch it on to Kevin Maguire, it's never coming out.
Yeah.
Yeah, and in those instances,
But can you imagine any of the Jeff Loeb and Tim Sale color books being like, oh, it's Tim Sale for 3 issues, and then 2 issues it's somebody else?
yeah. So, I mean, getting back to the question, I think anything creator-owned, like Saga, you can't switch Fiona Staples off. You cannot have a fill-in issue. It's just not that book anymore.
I wish you wouldn't have the gaps you have, but
Right. But again, like, I guess now, like, the way the industry used to work when that stuff was more prevalent in the 60s, 70s, 80s, when you could just switch creators in and out, that was because graphic novels weren't a thing. The issue had to come out. It had to come out this month, or stores aren't going to make any money. And the next month, another issue is going to come out. Whatever, you move on.
Yeah.
But now the idea that a lot of people are going to be experiencing this in a collected format or a digital format years or even decades later means you kind of can't do stuff like that haphazardly. You can do it in a more structured or attentive way, but you can't just be like, oh, I don't know, chapter 4 of 6 is suddenly a completely different art team. Like, that's not going to fly.
I'm sorry, what did you say, Marvel Comics?
Marvel Comics does do it. I think even Marvel's gotten better on the idea of, if the main artist is going to need a couple months off, then we need to put a 2-part story in that another artist can draw entirely. Like, Ultimate Spider-Man does it with David Messina and Marco Cicchetto, but I don't think they do it really well, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
The David Messina stuff just randomly seems to come in. There's just like...
I disagree. I feel like the David Messina stuff is mainly like more character-driven, more like the arcs that are all about just the paper.
Okay.
Is one of his. It's
or Norman or Harry Osborn.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
Less spider.
Maybe you're right.
More.
I just feel like they come up too often. Like the ratio that works for me.
That's because you want it to be Marco Cicchetto every issue, and I understand that. I like David Messina. Also, he and I work together on a cover.
Sure.
So
I guess the thing that
we're best friends.
I think about as far as how a ratio should work as far as fill-in artists is, like, I don't want to fill an artist more than 20% of the time. If a fill-in artist is happening more than 20% of the time, you need to reconfigure how the book operates.
I also don't like it where every arc is a different creative team or different art team.
Yeah, that's such a Marvel thing.
It doesn't have an identity.
Yeah, like Marvel historically would do a thing where the first 4 or 5 chapter arc,
Same artist for the
yeah, we got a huge get, and then they are gone and you'll never see them again. Like All New Wolverine, which I adore, is a book that you can look at each arc and it's like every arc seems to be a different artist. And no offense, frankly, they get worse as they go along. You're starting with David Lopez, and each next artist who does an arc is a little bit less polished than he is until you get to a point where it's like, this is not good. And then eventually they got Leonard Kirk, and it's like, oh, this is fine.
I mean, that was when we first started to notice it on a regular basis.
Sure.
Now I feel like it's most Marvel books. However, the one consistent X book from the Ashes relaunch was the Eve Ewing Carmen Canero one,
Mhm.
and that's the one that didn't survive.
Yeah, so that's the thing that I think Tom Brevoort has brought up before, and it's readers say that they want a consistent art team and they want Marvel to pay the money and make the scheduling work so that one writer and one artist does a run. But the problem is, like, readers don't really reward that in a way that could make that viable. Like, if like solid creator team books sold better than constant fill-ins, the market would shift towards that. It would be undeniable. The fact that it hasn't happened means that there's no financial basis for it. That's the hard truth.
Yeah. What is your perspective on the take that almost all comics would perform better overall as periodicals and then collections as opposed to original graphic novels? I'm going to tell you right now, I'm going to disprove that with the phrase Brubaker and Phillips. If all of your Reckless books were comics first and then collections, those collections would sell nowhere near what they sell.
That's true, but do you think you would not capture that same money via 5 monthly issues?
I don't.
No?
Because I think that the people that would sign up for that would not be as high as the people that sign up for the collection.
Yeah, I mean, the thing that I've talked about a lot over the years is kind of the idea of two different kinds of stories. Like, the thing about superhero comics is, and this is, I'll have to come up with a new analogy because this doesn't make any sense in 2026. It's like the nightly news. Like, you would never DVR or buy a DVD box set or a Blu-ray box set of the nightly news because it's instantly out of date. If you're not watching it the night of, it's not worth watching.
Yeah, you're not going to be like, oh man, I missed January 2nd's news and here it is February 12th.
Yeah, so
let me go back.
While you'll occasionally have breakout stuff like Absolute Batman, there's a lot of, like, we don't sell a lot of, like, the Chip Zdarsky Batman graphic novels, even though we sold pretty good on the individual issues, because the market has moved past it. It's a new creative team. There's new stuff going on. People aren't, like, in 2026 necessarily going to be saying, oh, well, I got to find out more about Failsafe. Like, it's moved on. But stuff like creator-owned books, original graphic novels, that's more like a movie. So the idea of, would a movie be better if I broke it into
a TV series,
4 25-minute episodes? No, it probably wouldn't. It would probably suck, and it wouldn't feel like that's every Marvel Studios TV show where it's just, you took a 6-hour movie and broke it into 6-hour-long chunks, and it feels like that. There's whole episodes that are boring. If you had just released it as, like, I was thinking about this the other day randomly. I didn't like Captain America Brave New World. I don't think the movie worked very well for a lot of reasons. But what weirdly worked really well was Falcon Winter Soldier. And if you had done that as a 2.5-hour movie, I think that would have performed way better. It's a story that has more reason to exist. It has a specific arc to it.
Better as a movie and better than
the TV show. Yeah, because it has a kind of, like, it ends with him being Captain America and you have this big action sequence. That as a single episode is not great, but that as the final 20 minutes of a 2.5-hour movie is great. So, yeah, it's kind of apples and oranges. If it's, do I think, Matt Fraction and Jorge Jimenez's Batman would perform better as a graphic novel than a comic? Absolutely not.
Yeah.
As you put it, would Criminal 5 Gears in Reverse perform better as a single comic than a hardcover? No, it probably wouldn't.
Yeah, it definitely depends on the story that they're telling and the length of the story they're telling. Last question, and it's a good one. They're all good questions. Thank you, Ryan.
Thank you, Ryan.
If the major distributors eventually have open contracts with the top 10 publishers, so you could choose to buy Marvel, DC, Image, etc. from Lunar, PRH, Universal, whomever, and distribution stabilizes, so with either you are getting all your books on time, Here's the question, how much would your decision whom to do business with,
Whomst.
depend on price versus service? Would, for example, reporting damages to Lunar versus PRH or the differences in metadata be worth sacrificing, say, a 0.5% discount, or would lowest price always win? So basically, I'm breaking the question down like this.
Mhm.
If we could get everything from one place,
Mhm.
would you pick PRH for free shipping and a flat discount, or Lunar for varying discounts, but a better reporting system? That was a question.
Okay,
Sorry. I felt like that was if you could get anything from anywhere, you pick.
I mean, I think you would agree that like price would necessitate everything, and price has a lot of different parts to it, though. Like, it's not just what is the better discount, although that is the main decision. Like, if we're ordering image from Lunar and it's 57.5% off, and we're ordering image from PRH and it's 56% off, why would I possibly move it away from Lunar? Like, why would I not just get it from Lunar? But like, one of the reasons why we had moved some stuff back when Diamond was still distributing some stuff, we moved it to Lunar, is because Diamond was causing way more damages. They were packing their books way worse. So even though it might have been a similar discount from Diamond as opposed to Lunar, if we're losing a week's worth of sales on it because we have to report the damage and then hope Diamond ships better copies next week, which could be just as damaged, then we are losing money staying with Diamond.
Yeah. Ultimately, like, if we could get Marvel from Lunar and DC from PRH, who would you choose? We get a much better discount from Lunar, because I'd assume that they'd follow the same kind of structure.
Yeah.
But PRH is free shipping, and if we were getting
That's a part.
everything from Lunar, our shipping would double.
Yeah, although, I mean, the shipping is discounted. It's not, we are not paying shipping from Lunar what we would pay if we were ordering just a box of comics from
Diamond.
whomever. Yeah, Diamond, which charged an arm and leg.
We've never had a problem with the freight costs for Lunar like some retailers had, and they've been consistent with us for the years we've been using them. We can estimate per box what we're going to pay.
Yeah.
Granted, we are close to them geographically, so the shipping for us, I'm sure, is cheaper than it is for a lot of retailers, especially the further out to either coast you go.
Right. I mean, to make a list of kind of general pros and cons between the two distributors, PRH and Lunar, PRH's pros are free shipping, which is a cost for sure. Not a huge cost necessarily, but a cost. More standardized delivery dates. PRH, unless it's a holiday week, always shows up on Friday. If it's a holiday week, it shows up even earlier, as opposed to Lunar, which could show up as early as Thursday or as late as Tuesday. And that is a huge pain in the ass.
Yeah.
Things like overage, shortage, damage reporting. PRH is easier. They don't ask for overages. They don't care. Shortages and damages. It's kind of a push between the two. It's easier to do shortages and damages through PRH because they ask for less documentation. You're just giving an affidavit of like, these were damaged and I'd either like them replaced or credit. But one of the weird quirks about PRH that is over time kind of annoying is that when you report any items for credit on a PRH invoice, shortages, damages,
You get one time.
so if another part of the shipment shows up later and you've already reported damages or shortages from a previous box,
That report is closed.
you have to email a customer service rep and explain what's going on and type everything out. With Lunar,
You can go back into it as many times as you want.
yeah, it's a list of books from like the last few invoices to the next few invoices, and you just scroll and find the stuff you need.
You could report, if you have 5 damaged copies of Batman #5, you can report one a day for 5 days. I don't know why you would do that, but you could.
As far as metadata goes, certainly I like how standardized Lunar is. Lunar changes the titles to match their internal structure as opposed to PRH, which does not.
Lunar, every publisher's books are the same format.
That said, the titles are way too long.
Agreed.
50th Anniversary Superman vs. Spider-Man Treasury Facsimile Edition, cover A, Ross Andrew and Carmine Infantino cover.
Agreed. But that's the thing. That's not a Lunar thing per se. But PRH doesn't. It lets any publisher put their data however they want. And that is what causes a lot of my time.
Same here.
And
Every time we ingest new PRH stuff through Managed Comics into Shopify, I have to spend a bunch of time massaging all of those titles to make sure that they match not only internally with other books in the same categories, but also previous volumes of the same series, so you can find stuff.
Every email you get from us that has a new release list in it, every screen on the new release boards in the store or the lists at the front counter, I change all those to be the same. I subscribe to a lot of shops' email newsletters, and there's a lot of shops that just put the data in as it's given, so it changes case. It changes, parentheses, it changes all this, and I standardize all of ours, so it's identical.
It looks good.
And I choose to do everything all caps because the majority of what we get, Marvel, DC, Image, are all caps.
Yeah.
If they were mixed cased, I would make it mixed case.
Sure.
Over the years, I've slowly been beaten down and changed things. Like I used to put parentheses to ND print parentheses to say second print. Now I stopped doing that because nobody else does it in parentheses, so I'd be adding that. I get rid of TP in every trade paperback listing. I will change TP to SC if there's a hardcover and a softcover.
Sure.
I'd rather say hardcover, softcover than hardcover trade paperback. But yeah, the amount of data that we change just to make it unnoticeable on the customer end is such a waste of time. And it's usually, like for me, I start it in the middle of the night, early Thursday mornings, late Wednesday nights, when I'm satisfied that the PRH invoices are accurate. If you do it too early, things could change.
Yeah.
Occasionally they an A cover will miss. Here's a stupid example from next week or 2 weeks. The anniversary issue of Avengers is coming out, and Marvel standardly it'll say, Avengers 900. And then it'll say Avengers 900, George Perez hidden variant, or Tareen Clark variant cover.
Okay.
The A cover, as it were, Marvel does not use A, B, C, D designations, but the A cover is just the title and the issue number. Except every once in a while, for example, this one, Avengers 900 wraparound. Is it 900? Is that the right number?
I don't know what number it is, but
But at the anniversary.
a high number.
But yeah, so it's Avengers 900 wraparound.
Sure.
That's the A cover.
They're doing it with X-Men United as well, where it's the main cover of X-Men United. Number 1 is X-Men United #1, connecting cover A. And then the B cover is connecting cover B because it is.
Do they actually say A and B?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, that's the only time they use A and B.
Yeah.
And it's stupid.
I don't like it.
That's a thing that I want so much and will never have. My pipe dreams for the comic industry are, I don't care what side, left or right, your barcode is on the cover. Just make it facing the same direction, each one. Don't flip it.
Yep.
Don't flip it. Barcode readers for the comics industry are hard enough to program to read extensions. So many stores, as they switch over to different POS systems, have a problem programming the barcode to read the extension. I get it. It's a problem we've had in the past. We don't have now. We've had in the past. But the way the barcodes are now, they only read them from a certain direction for us. And I hate having to turn the book. I don't care if you want to put it on the back cover. Fine. Just don't flip it from side to side. And for the love of God, fix all the data problems.
And Marvel put the name of your cover artist on the cover.
Yes. And for the love of God, put the ratio in the cover like every other publisher does.
DC does it.
Everybody does it. IDW does it.
Yep.
Image does it.
It ain't hard.
Everyone does it.
Ain't hard.
God. Marvel has so many cover artists that are unknown to us.
Yeah.
You can't tell just by looking. And if they don't sign the cover,
or they sign the cover in a way where you don't know that Ken Lashley is art killer, lead killer.
Yeah. And God forbid you order the same quantities for 3 of those covers. You don't know which one is which. Oh, but one of them is an incentive.
Yeah.
Don't put that out for regular price. So anyway, yeah, we would definitely choose price first and then amenities second.
Yeah. And, Lunar and PRH each have their pros and cons. I don't think either one of them is head and shoulders above the other. So if price were like, I guess the other thing to really think about is, would we want everything at one distributor? Would we want just one shipment per week that's going to have all the new books? And I guess we probably would,
Yeah.
but that would still be a nightmare.
Yeah, but then we would at least, hopefully be able to staff.
Right. You would know that Friday was a day that someone's going to just be unpacking
Yeah.
15 boxes.
The way Tuesdays used to be, I would always be in sidekick for the table.
Yeah.
I miss those days. That's when I listened to all my podcasts. I haven't listened to the Taskmaster podcast in
I
forever.
don't know. What about the restaurant one?
Off menu?
Yeah.
Yeah, I pick and choose depending on who the guests are because I don't have the time anymore.
Sure.
I'm not
Get on the car.
driving to go get books anymore.
No.
I'm not sequestered in a room for 6 hours unpacking boxes. Yeah, all my podcast time has gone away.
Oh, no.
I have to be on them to listen to them.
Sure.
Speaking of which, I know you listen to us right now on this podcast, but last week I was on Off Panel with David Harper for his first podcast of the year. And this week I will be on one of 2 episodes of Cornerbox podcast that I will be posting about on social media. Starting, those will go up on Tuesdays for the next 2 weeks.
Neat.
I'll be on those. So overall, I will have been on 7 podcasts, 7 episodes, 3 podcasts, 7 episodes over the span of January.
Jesus.
I know, right? You'll have been on 4.
I'm glad at least you're getting paid for these. People are paying you for these, right?
Oh, yeah, of course.
Okay, good.
Ryan Alcock, thank you very much for
Thanks, Ryan.
the questions.
Yeah, and if anyone's got questions they want us to answer, I mean, we're always looking for feedback as far as what people want to hear about, and if there's anything that we're not covering or that we're covering in a way that doesn't necessarily solve your conundrums.
Send them in.
Yeah.
Thanks for listening.
Keep reading comics.
This has been Contest of Challengers. Thanks for listening. Keep reading comics. Challengers is located at 1845 Northwestern Avenue in the Bucktown neighborhood of Chicago. 773-278-0155. Keep up to date with new releases and events at challengerscomics.com. And help fund this podcast at patreon.com/challengers.